Mortal Kombat 11 is the 11th mainline game in the series. NetherRealm Studios has once again brought us the gore-soaked fighter fans have always loved, but how does the new game stack up? No Raiden gibberish, 0 out of 10, literally unplayable. Okay, but for real now, let's get to it.
Round 1.
The story of MK11 was, well, I gotta be honest, it was a little disappointing. Modern MK games still have yet to reach the threshold set by MK9's story, maybe because they aren't really quite sure what that story should even be. So here's what I mean. MKX built off of the ending of MK9 by teasing Shinnok. Given that MK9 is a reboot that covers the story of the first 3 games, it makes sense that MK4 is next. What MKX does is knock Shinnok out of the story for a bit at the very beginning, and then build up to his eventual return as the final boss an entire generation later. MK11 takes a similar approach. MKX ended with a tease of Dark Raiden once again happening just as it did in the original game timeline, and then promptly and quite literally deletes Dark Raiden from existence a mere chapter into the game. What? That's it? This character had so much he could have done, so many paths he could have gone down, but nope. We saw in a couple of MKX endings how Raiden, or should I say Dark Raiden, had become essentially Earthrealm Shao Kahn and was attacking realms in preemptive self-defense instead of just conquering them for the sake of conquering them. I'm not saying these endings were canon, but it was a good glimpse into how Raiden would operate in the story in the next game, which is exactly what he does with Liu Kang and the Netherrealm before he gets Thanos. What a waste! Instead we get, I must consult the Elder Gods past Raiden. Look, I like Raiden, but I am so disappointed that instead of him potentially being the villain, or heck, bringing back Onaga or something, we got Kronika. Kronika is probably the lamest villain Mortal Kombat has seen since Shinnok. I mean, I suppose, given that she's Shinnok's mother, I guess it runs in the family. And I'm talking about MK4 Shinnok too, not MKX Shinnok. She is that lame. All she does is have all these people lose badly in her stead, and when the time comes for her to fight herself, well, I mean, predictably she loses. I mean, you can't even combo her either. It's not even fun. She just takes a couple of hits and then floats away, essentially having a free combo breaker on at all times. Even Shao Kahn lets you freaking combo him. You just have to learn his patterns and when he had armor on. So Kronika is disappointing in all these aspects. Except she wins. Mortal Kombat is going to get rebooted again. So all the character development, Scorpion and Sub-Zero making up, becoming best buds, gone. Kotal Kahn being this incredible jobber who can't seem to do anything right except beat up lesser jobbers than him, well, that's thankfully gone, I guess. The Cage family dynamics, gone. Jax dealing with PTSD, gone. It's all gone.
Gone! It's all gone. All of it's gone. Bye-bye. Woo, see ya.
I mean, it could happen again, but we literally just rebooted this thing 2 frickin' games ago. And now we're doing it already? And again? Come on. Now honestly, I'm not going to get super nitpicky like I normally do and go into all the different things that could have been different, because if I did, I would get so sidetracked and this video would be so much longer than it is because there were so many little things that were wrong or just weird in this game's story mode. It felt like they were tired of all the stuff and wanted to turn back the clock again, and overall that's just disappointing. But I can understand if they legitimately don't know what to do, because now Liu Kang is like the fire god of time or something and has replaced Kronika, so yeah.
Round 2.
So visually the game is the best Mortal Kombat has ever looked in the game, no questions there. I do have some quibbles with the costuming though. No, it's not about that controversy at the beginning with all the female costumes, although I suppose that's kind of partly tied into it, and here's what I mean. It's the lack of detail. The plot of MK11 is about how the past versions of the characters get zapped into the future. Specifically, from the events of MK9, precisely from when Kung Lao defeated the Not-So-Deadly Alliance and took a break.
Move this man!
The whole point of MK9 was that Raiden was having these vision flash-forward things based on Shao Kahn killing everyone at the end of Mortal Kombat Armageddon. And the more his amulet cracked, the more it was a sign they were heading into that dark future. Well, Raiden and the gang then get transported forward, and where's his amulet? Come on, like, sure this is an incredibly nitpicky thing, but it really bugged me. If you're going to go through the trouble of doing all that why not just incorporate the MK9 visuals as a costume, but redone and touched up graphically for MK11? Oh, wait, they did for Shao Kahn, but they just didn't do that in the story. What? So this would in turn extend to not just Raiden, but the women like Kitana or Jade as well. I mean, I get it. The character lead for MK11, he doesn't like the skimpy costumes. Fine, I get it. You don't like the costumes. But at the very least, just say it and leave it at that. Don't try to say that you aren't going to wear a bikini or show much skin in a fight when literally just look at professional female fighting and see the exact opposite is true. Especially since the male fighters all of them are rocking that half-naked, shirtless look. So, I mean, come on. I mean, you have Ronda Rousey as a voice actor. Look up her fights and see what she wears. Like, come on, NetherRealm guys. NetherRealm guys. NetherRealm guys. Come on. You know, there's such an easy way to resolve this whole thing, too. It really is so easy. You have a way to have it organically fit into the chaotic mess that is the Mortal Kombat universe. You want to know what that is? Alright, come here. Come closer. Let me tell you. This guy right here. Shao freaking Kahn. In all aspects, this dude is a giant barbarian conqueror who wouldn't look out of place in a Conan the Barbarian movie. His win pose in MK9 is literally a totally not slave Leia crawling up and hugging his leg. It would be so easy to say that by his own imperial decree, all women in his empire must dress a certain way for no other reason than that's how he likes it. Is that demeaning? Is that misogynistic? Yeah, sure. But he's a villain. Who cares? He's supposed to make you uncomfortable. You're supposed to hate him so the good guys can beat him, and you want that victory to happen for the good guys. You know, fast forward to the future, and you can have Kotal Kahn literally not care what they wear as long as they swear loyalty to him or something. Because that's his problem. Kotal Kahn is like, I'm fighting all these people in the Civil War. I need people to support my cause. Sure, Shao Kahn's dress codes? Gone. I don't care. Just swear loyalty to me. Boom. Problem solved. It would even go a long way to showing the progress of Outworld from Shao Kahn to Kotal Kahn to Kitana. I mean, Kotal's not exactly without some violent tendencies of his own, but he gets dethroned anyway when he gives it to Kitana, so whatever. The character traits practically write this by themselves. Blame the super sexy outfits on Shao Kahn, and then have them dress more modestly, or whatever, now that he's been dead for an entire generation. But if you're gonna bring the past fighters back, specifically from the literal past, make them look like how they were actually dressed. It doesn't matter whether that's, you know, stripper-looking Jade, or Raiden with his Elder God amulet. It'd be like, okay, so bear with me on this. It'd be like if we took George Washington from the past back to our time, but when he stepped through the time portal, suddenly he's wearing a modern business suit, because what he wore back then isn't, you know, the current fashion today. It's not acceptable today, so now he's gotta wear the business suit. You see what I mean? It's weird. And yes, I absolutely just devoted a whole section to that because, hey, it's my video and it bugged me. But, overall, once again, the visuals are great. Mortal Kombat has never looked better. It looks great, guys.
Round 3.
So gameplay-wise, I like Mortal Kombat 11. I feel like it's easier to play, but I'm not sure if that's because I've been playing more fighting games recently, so it was easier to grasp than it was beforehand. I don't know, I'd have to go back to MK9 or something and see if I can pick that up again faster. The X-rays have been replaced by Fatal Blows, which now you can only do once a match, and is tied to your health reaching a critical point, with it no longer being tied to your meter. So I think that's a good move. Likewise, the rapidly recharging offensive and defensive meter bars at the bottom of the screen means you don't have to hoard your meter as much. They've kept the MKX variation system kinda sorta, but they've narrowed it down to 2 choices. But you can also customize characters so they can have whatever moves you want from the available move pool. That's great, but you can't play in ranked with these things. So as a result, I've honestly avoided ranked matches entirely in Mortal Kombat just because I want to see the crazy things available and not get limited by the variations. Unfortunately, I do have to bring up the crypts. So MK11's progression system is heavily locked behind this thing. It'll be extremely difficult and time-consuming to get things like brutalities for your favorite character, without lots of grinding for gold, and hearts, and souls, and these other requirements to unlock things. So luckily, Your actual moves are not limited by this. It's all about alternate costumes, brutalities, concept art, collectible kind of stuff, you know? But man, is it a long haul. This also ties into the Towers of Time. You remember when MKX had those crazy towers with all the stuff going on in your face? Yeah, well now those are tied into how you unlock the aforementioned brutalities now, instead of just a fun challenge for the sake of it because it's a holiday or something. It was actually so bad, NetherRealm patched it to be easier shortly after release because it was frankly just incredibly ridiculous how stupidly hard it was for so little reward. Like take the alternate costumes for instance. There aren't that many, but you have a lot of palette swaps for those few costumes, so you get this illusion of excess choice. I suppose that's hilariously appropriate given that Mortal Kombat was infamous early on for its palette swaps, I guess? But God forbid you want to play on multiple platforms, because you'll either have to live without all the extra stuff, or go through the grind all over again. Overall, I'd say MK11, it was an enjoyable game, I had fun with it. It did make some questionable decisions here or there, and they certainly aren't perfect, but I did have fun with it. I do think it's already gotten a bit stale, at least for me, but maybe the DLC can fix that with Arnold or something, who knows? I don't know. Who knows? But thanks again for watching, guys. As always, if you like what you see here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell icon so you can be notified every time the channel puts out a new video. My name is Axelon. I'll see you guys next time.